Welcome back to another JIVij podcast episode. My name is JERiCK.
My name's Rafi.
And this is Chris Mark.
Hey, we got the classics in the house.
Yo.
All the boys.
We got the legends. We got the legends in the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How's you guys this week? Anything interesting this week? Because I normally do like a weekly update, but
your weekly obsessions.
just kind of I guess anything cool that happened this week. Any
Well,
TV shows or I guess anything.
I'm more interested in the weather that's happening outside.
Dude, half of our city is on fire.
That is true.
It took away from my interests and then it, kind of directed it towards the cities.
Chris Mark's like, I'm trying to go hike, bro, but it's too smoky outside.
It is. There's crazy fire happening right now, just right outside of our town.
Yeah, literally.
Um,
On the outskirts.
yeah, it's been smoky too.
Very
Yeah,
smoky. As far as weekly things, I mean, I turned 34.
Hey,
Happy birthday!
Yeah, shout out. I went stargazing with my friends. JERiCK was there.
Hey,
Nice.
that was kind of cool. We went to Pyramid Lake.
Yeah. I've
That's
never
good.
actually, that was my first time going to Pyramid Lake.
No way, for real?
Dude, I've never been the whole time I've lived in Reno. And it was kind of perfect because, like, for that to be my first experience was pretty cool. When we were there was nobody else around us, which is what I wanted. I just wanted to stargaze and be out in nature with my friends, and it was perfect.
Did you guys throw out a bonfire?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
we
hell
had
yeah,
to.
dude.
That was,
I was going to say, is that you got to do it, bro.
I ain't hear no water babies, though. There's all these
That's what I hear.
stories
You know?
about Pyramid Lake and, like...
I swear, like when we turn off the music for a moment, I swear to God,
I heard it too, bro.
I want to
heard it
say I heard ducks, but it sounded like crying.
like a baby crying.
way.
Yeah, but there was like a few people in our group that was already kind of like freaking out about
Yeah, water
like
babies.
water babies apparently in Pyramid Lake. But like I heard it. Like I don't know what it was.
Look,
I want to
all
say
I'm
ducks,
saying is,
but I mean,
me personally, I ain't scared of no ghosts. So, if there's any water babies out there trying to get your boy, like, how?
I honestly kind of was very curious about it. It would have been interesting if something happened, but it is what it is.
I'm actually kind of curious about the lore about the water babies.
Dude, like, if I met a ghost, I'd chop it up with them. Be like, yo, tell me what the supernatural world be like. Like, what's
Yeah, I never.
real.
Yeah,
what y'all do for fun?
I don't know what the story about the water babies is.
So supposedly, I guess a long time ago, the native tribes back in the day would throw I don't want to offend nobody, but like defective babies into the lake. You know what I mean? Like babies who had issues
Like
and
issues,
complications. Get like during birth, they would
Oh damn!
It's crazy.
chuck them in the lake. But I mean, no, there's not really like definite proof of that. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
just like kind of like an urban legend.
pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I heard it, but I don't know what it was.
I guess, man, if I saw a water baby, I'd probably try to punt the shit out of it.
That's what I'm saying. I ain't scared, bro. Like,
Actually,
what the heck? Be like,
Like
tell
we
me
grew
what
up in the Philippines. There's all sorts of
Oh, yeah,
monsters in there.
Seriously, I think we're like the
I
capital.
mean, personally, I've never seen one, but like, there's like crazy stories all the time about like ghosts and.
We have so many fucking ghosts in the Philippines.
I wonder if, like, I always kind of curious. Like, yes, I do kind of believe in like, like supernatural in a way, but I never personally experienced it. But then I wonder if like a lot of those stories are just to kind of scare, kids so like they don't, play at night or whatever.
I'll say this: the things in my life that I have experienced that are supernatural, things that I can't explain with words or science, like it just things that I experienced. It happened. I don't know the science behind it. It kind of, you know what I mean?
Like, are you talking about ghost stuff?
Not necessarily. Like, I don't know if I want to get into it, but like, I was somewhere out in the redwoods and I felt my mom hug me. But like,
No.
I know
Stuff
that's
like, yeah, stuff like that.
that
yeah.
sounds crazy, right? But it happened.
Yeah.
Like, there were friends I was with that saw me as it was happening, and they were like, "Are you good?" And I told them what happened, and they were like so happy for me.
Oh, nice.
It's awesome.
There's
bro.
not really a way to explain that, and I know it sounds crazy, but like, it wasn't necessarily a ghost or like
Yeah.
a scary thing. Like what I experienced was beautiful. It gave me closure. you know,
Yeah.
from my mom who passed. So it's like I can't really turn a good experience into an urban you know what I'm saying? Like,
but like
mine
I feel
had
like that's like a different type of like.
that's what I'm saying. Mine was a
Experience.
positive
Yeah.
experience. So it's hard for me to associate that with like ghosts. You know what I'm saying?
It's but that's very cool, man. Yeah, personally, I've never had that. I mean, I've had like spiritual awakening and like visions, but like nothing like super.
I've seen JERiCK's epiphany, or I've watched him go through his epiphany. Rather,
Yeah, he was there on my first mushroom trip, and I was just like, "What the fuck is all this shit?" It was, yeah, it was crazy. We talked about it in the last episode.
yeah, that's gonna be a good one when it
Yeah,
comes out.
hopefully people will watch that one. Because I really enjoyed that episode too. Because I've been wanting to talk about psychedelics for a long time.
Yeah,
So it was good to actually like deep dive
yeah,
into it.
it's perfect, dude. You have the right platform for all of it.
Yeah, because like growing up, there was conversations about all these like drugs that really bad for you, and I believed it for a long time. Like, I mean, obviously there's a lot of drugs out there that are really bad for you.
Yeah.
Mostly like the man-made stuff. But I think like mushrooms and like LSD. I know LSD is kind of man-made, but anything that's like psychedelics and like mind-altering things is, at least for me, it shouldn't be put in the same category as the bad drugs.
For sure. I think what it is too is you have to experience it the right way, which you did.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I feel like not everybody gets to that. Not everybody experiences it the right way when they first encounter it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I can understand the other side, but once you break through, like there's no going back.
So I've been wanting Chris Martin to take it, but he's a little scared, so I'm not gonna force it.
I want to try shrooms though.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Dude, I would love to be there, like when you want to do it. Just
I'll
so
hook you up, dude. I'm like, Chris Martin's down, bro.
no, but honestly, just so I can like guide you and you have someone to talk to if you are like, because you don't really know if you're gonna have a good trip or a bad trip. What I can tell you is it is like a psychological mirror, so you're gonna have to like face your thoughts.
Yeah, because
essentially.
that's what I told him. It's like
Yeah,
because I know we've talked about you have a lot of traumas, right?
I do.
And like the thing about, at least from my experience with psychedelics, is it's a mirror. So you might not like what you see. So that's the bad trip that people are talking about, is because
Depends on how you interpret it.
yeah. So like I would just want you to have a perspective of, okay, like, oh, this is the shit that I need to work on. So you might not like what you see, and I feel like that's normal.
It was different for me because I researched a lot of things about psychedelics before I did it.
Yeah.
And I went into it knowing that I wanted to address something, because I was like, I have nothing to lose. And
Because you were in like what, depression during that time too?
yeah, it was right after my mom passed, broke up with my ex-girlfriend. It was a lot of things that I just didn't even have time to process, because life,
Yeah.
like, got bills. Like, I hate to sound like this, but no one cares, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you're going through stuff, no one cares. Like,
true.
you gotta keep going. And sometimes that means setting aside your personal needs, your trauma or whatever. Like, I didn't have time to be sad. Like, my situation didn't allow me time to grieve or feel bad about myself. I just had to keep going. So when I finally got to a place where I had some like time to spend with myself, I was like, well, let's be productive. Let's try and do something. So I personally went into my journey knowing that I wanted to address something. So that was a little different for me.
Yeah, I guess be intentional about why you're doing it. The first time I did it, I wasn't very intentional, but because in my mind I was like, oh, I want to see some cool dragons and like You know, because what I've heard about mushrooms is like it's very visual, and like I wanted to see all this shit, and then I didn't see any of that. What I saw was the fucking Matrix, and then it just kind of like it shattered the glass for me, and then I was just like, oh shit, like everybody's a sheep, and like I really saw that, and
true.
it's crazy. So yeah, I really want that experience for you too, as
shit,
your
man.
friend, and
Yeah,
like.
Yeah.
But
I'd
like I
appreciate if you
said,
guys
like
were
when
there.
you're ready, let me know.
Well, I
bro.
just think if you
Yeah.
do it in the right setting, meaning be outside. Don't do it and go party. Don't do it and be by yourself. Like go outside where you feel open, when you're around natural energy, and that's when you're gonna have like a better environment
Yeah.
for something like that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that we're talking about this because I was given multiple opportunities this weekend because I went to a rave this week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let that be the first time.
Yeah. Probably not the
See,
best.
I'm glad that you didn't do it. There's a reason you didn't do it.
Yeah.
You probably feel like it's not the right time, right?
That and also
Wait, what were
because
they offering you?
they're offering me Molly,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
there was other stuff too that they were offering me. But I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? I'm actually fucking enjoying myself for the first time sober as hell at a club or a rave or anything. And I was like, you know what? This is crazy because I had fun.
Yeah.
The night ended kind of weird though. I'm to tell you that I woke up with fucking Burger King out of nowhere, and I was like, "What the fuck?" It's weird.
Are you sure you were sober?
I was sober enough, I can tell you that. But I was like, "What the fuck?" I went to Burger
That's
King.
good, man. I applaud awareness and discipline.
Yeah. At least like because like being in a party setting is definitely different than being intentional about why you're doing
Yeah.
psychedelics. But yeah.
It's funny too because normally I'm not on the dance floor like fucking getting wild and crazy when I'm like sober as shit because I'm aware of myself. But when like this time I was just like, you know what? Let's just fucking have fun. Everybody around me, like the energy and the vibe, it's like nobody gives a fuck what you're doing.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
just fucking you could, I don't know, fucking Fortnite dance if you want. Nobody would probably give a fuck.
Exactly.
So I was just enjoying the moment and just getting wild with it.
That's
Yeah.
what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, because like I've been to a lot of shows, and it's people are just there to have fun.
Yeah.
You know, like nobody's judging you. Like who cares how you're dancing?
Especially at a rave.
Yeah.
That energy is so open. Like
Yeah, I noticed. I've never been to a rave and everybody was just so nice.
Because that's what I've noticed when I've started going into like rave and shows, right? Because it's a different crowd.
Yeah.
it's very different from
It's
like,
like,
a club
you
setting.
know,
Oh yeah,
that-
100%.
In my early 20s, I've gone to clubs a lot and like Lex, Edge, and it's just people are drunk and then like people are doing dumb shit in
Yeah.
there. And like when you go to a rave, like obviously there's dumb shit in there too. Like
Yeah,
but it
comes with it.
Like it's just a different vibe.
It is 100%.
I feel like people are a little bit more like open and
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Overall, the energy, the music, everything
Yeah.
about it is just more open.
and then like, you know, part of it too is probably like because of Molly and like
Yeah, well,
you know, people are doing
People are too
Like-
drugged up to
like
care.
drug like, different types of drugs, right? Like
Yeah.
alcohol versus like
Some people are rolling
Psychedelics,
tits.
yeah.
Some people are tripping.
Um,
yeah.
because like it makes you feel really good and makes you feel happy. So
Yeah.
like you're like, I'm just having fun with everybody.
Okay, hold on. I think I figured it out. When you go to a rave, there's always gonna be somebody that looks way more messed up than you, so you're more comfortable to like do.
It's like I'm not that fucked up.
Yeah, so you could justify. You could be like, well, at least I'm not that guy. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
You know-
I've seen some people that I'm like, dude, you're
am I
like-
wrong? Am I?
You're wrong.
I mean,
you know what's funny too that you say that because right before I got into the rave, there was actually a guy getting carried out by the ambulance.
see,
I was like,
you're like,
yeah, that
well,
guy's
I'm not.
fucked
I'm
up.
at least not that guy. You know?
Yeah.
It's funny because the guy that we were there for, the show was for Valentino Khan.
Oh, nice.
So he was apparently he was gonna show up at 12:30 at night, and which he did. It was like fucking 9 o'clock and like barely like starting or anything, and this guy's already trashed, and I'm like, damn, he
Is this-
paid for a show. That,
Is this like cargo?
yeah,
Gotcha.
When was this? Was this weekend?
I
It's
forgot Valentino
Saturday.
Khan was in town, but I did
Saturday.
hear about that show.
I wasn't even gonna go because I didn't even know
Chris
about it.
Mark's a raver now, dude.
I
He went
didn't
to,
know.
You like house music? I don't even know.
he
that.
went to
I'm down for whatever type of music, man.
yeah, he
Shit.
went to freaking some guy at Lex. Who was the DJ in there?
Oh,
the guy-
the Oro. Damn, that guy's
That was pretty good
it's
too.
fucking pretty lit. Yeah.
And then I didn't know that you actually went to this one too. Like that's cool.
Well, my friend's been inviting me, and I was like, I'll go.
There you
You know,
go.
it's like when the universe tells you to just go,
Hey,
you just fucking
let's
go, bro.
That's good, dude.
Because-
Because I know you've been feeling a little lonely, and like you need to like
Get
just
out.
be out there,
Yeah.
you know, instead of just like chilling at home. I mean, chilling at home is really good too, but like it just depends on like what your energy is like calling for you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like if you want to be out, then be out. Dude.
That's why I was like, you know what? I started just listening to myself and just letting the universe just take whatever.
Yeah.
Just guide me in the path, in the direction. Because if we don't, then we end up like fucking miserable.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned is like, it's crazy, but I'm just doing the things that the world wants me to do.
Honestly, bro, even just as your friend, I know we don't really see each other that much, but
Yeah.
just from the last time I saw you, your energy seems more open.
Well, thank you, bro.
So
Appreciate
I
it.
think that's good, dude. Because
When was the last time you saw him?
at Bluebird when you were
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was
Yeah.
like, last year.
I was overdressed for that shit, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, like when you go to a rave, is like
Yeah, dude.
it's a different type of like
Yeah.
clothing.
I'm starting to learn this, but
Like,
surely, you know what I mean?
it's not like clubbing when you're like wearing dress shirts. I mean,
Yeah.
you can wear whatever the fuck you
Yeah.
want, but you know, it's just a different crowd.
But
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, bro, because naturally
you, appreciate
that opens yourself up for more experiences.
Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to, be open to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why like I remember telling you, I was just because like when we started hanging out, like a few months ago.
Yeah.
Like we went for a walk, and then like we were just talking, right? And then I told Raph, I was like, I think Chris Mark's ready for like
I do remember Jared
Yeah.
telling me this.
like his mind is like starting to open up.
Yeah.
So I feel like, in my perspective, I feel like you're ready.
Yeah.
But then it's
My
you. so,
my
like-
my biggest thing is I just want him to
Yeah.
experience it the right way. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
and like you have to do it in a good environment. Otherwise, you might, especially for a first time.
Yeah.
It's just because like it's so unpredictable in what you'll
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
what
want to
you'll
be at a
experience.
rave the first time you have
yeah.
a psychedelic experience.
It's funny that you say that because our friend Justin Barba, you know who he is? Well, he's a friend of ours, and I saw him at the Dioro show. I was like being offered Molly and all kinds of stuff over there too, but he told me, "Don't take it. Just wait till you're like with good friends."
That was the universe
And-
telling you. dude.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That was gonna say it's like that's not my friend telling me. Well, it's him telling me, but
Yeah.
it's the universe itself
Exactly.
trying to tell me,
Yeah.
don't fuck with this in a place.
Yeah, you
environment
do
like
want to
this.
be surrounded by people who you can trust.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So that's what when time comes, I may or may not be ready, but
Yeah. Hey,
as at the moment, my own mind is pretty open for a lot
Yeah.
of things.
there you go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's it for the weekly update.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I would say, what do I have this week? I was like, same shit I had last week.
Yeah.
I
was
feel
gonna
like
say,
it's just
you know,
been kind
I
of
felt like a slight continuation of the last podcast.
yeah.
Pray for Reno. Just kidding.
Oh yeah. If you have friends that live in the Arrow Creek / Mount Rose area, please check on them.
Yeah,
For
and I think
real.
like Washoe Valley too, right? That's where
Right.
the
Yeah.
fire
They
is.
got evacuated. I got
Evacuated.
stuck in traffic yesterday for an
Me
hour.
too.
They were getting evacuated.
Yeah. Yeah. I was doing an Uber ride and it was like all the way down to like Dumani, and then there was like traffic everywhere. 'cause,
Yeah,
like,
the-
I guess
they, like,
closed
stopped the
parts of
traffic.
road. Yeah.
Oh, shit, dude.
So yeah, that was kind of a pain in the ass, but I get it.
Well, hopefully they were able to contain that here within the next, I don't
I
know,
hope so, too.
hours
Yeah.
or so. Shit. But aside from that,
Yeah, I guess.
So what's up, JERiCK? What's good with you?
I guess we'll dive into the topic today.
What's
I don't
this,
even
bro?
know. I guess we'll talk about me. That's the topic.
it's a takeover.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've been thinking a lot lately, and I just feel like I have things that I want to, like, share and talk about.
Yeah.
Because this is my therapy. I pay for it, so it's.
I mean, I ain't trying to give myself too much credit, but I might have just suggested to JERiCK, the people need to hear your story, my guy.
There you
So-
go.
But it's so funny to me because every episode, I always give my point of view and some of my stories.
Yeah.
So I feel like when people say like, "Oh, we need to hear more about you," in my mind, I'm just like, "Don't I talk about myself like all the time?"
I think it's because you choose to highlight the people that you know on your
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Like when you bring a guest over, you kind of make it about them, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
And like
you know.
yeah, because like you are right, because like my intention is like whoever guests or like my co-host, right? Like I appreciate you guys for like coming in and filling in, because I do like having three people in the podcast, just because the dynamic of the conversation flows so much better than just
One-on-one.
one-on-one.
Yeah.
And like I can do one-on-one too, but I feel like I have more fun doing three people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate you guys, co-hosting, and then
By the way, I tried to tell JERiCK to be in the hot seat, but he wasn't having it. I'm just saying.
I did
This is-
too. I told him too.
do you guys ever watch Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like Sheldon. I'm like, that's my spot. Like, so this is my spot.
Definitely Sheldon. Oh,
funny as hell.
Yeah. But yeah, because like I had this somebody commented on one of the videos, or one of the podcast episode. Do you want to read this?
sure.
I guess like
This first one right here.
yeah. The first
Okay, so this is a YouTube comment
Yeah.
from Straight From Hell.
Yay! Shout out.
14.
Honestly, like I don't know his real name, so
Yeah.
please comment down below, because I think
I'm sure you'll show this screenshot in your video, right?
yeah, because I've seen him comment before in other videos, so like I would love to at least like know who it is.
Yeah.
So
Shout
yeah,
outs to you, Straight From Hell.
straight
14.
from hell.
Hey, we never. His name might be like video game related.
That's true, that's
so
true.
We can't really judge. Anyway, he says, JERiCK, you are an inspiration to us all. I would love to hear more about your personal perspective on the creative process. If I could make a suggestion, the next episode should be about how you are able to be so consistent as well as collaborative. It seems like you collaborate with a lot of people. What are the trials and tribulations of that? Looking forward to the next episode. Keep it up.
Hey, this was like a few episodes ago, so I'm glad that we finally got to do this episode. Yeah, I guess where do we start?
Let's answer his like question.
I guess personal perspective on the creative process. I don't know where to start.
Okay, here I got a question for you.
Okay.
Let's just go with this one, and maybe it'll bounce off. So for as long as I've known you, which was what, high school.
Yeah, I met you in high school.
I met you, and you've always been like into. I've noticed that like you're like the most creative person that I personally know, because from the moment I met you, you were already in a band.
yeah.
And you were already like into music and stuff. What my question is like, how did you get into that type of stuff? Like your origin story about it.
Well, music wise, so my family, I grew up in the Philippines, and everybody in my family either sings or played an instrument. So that was kind of like
Filipinos. You know?
yeah. So that was already kind of a given, because like I remember playing the piano for the first time, and it was like I'm pretty sure you've heard it before, like one of those like really basic like like
Yeah.
that melody when I was probably like 3 or 4. So I already played piano at 3 or 4, and then I've taken some piano lessons when I was in like 3rd grade when I was in the Philippines. So that's kind of like how I got into like playing the keys, and then singing wise too, because everybody in my family was singing. So I'm like, all right, like I'll sing, and they're like doing like church choir and all that stuff. So like I always been surrounded with music, and then just like growing up too, like I listened to a lot of like mostly like whatever was playing on the radio, like popular in the Philippines. So it was always been like I've always enjoyed music. Like I don't know how, like for you, like dancing, like was that kind of like was that a spark for you, or was it just kind of
pretty sure my earliest memories is me dancing in the living room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like as a toddler, and my mom showing me off to her friends, like, "Oh, look, my son can dance." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Type shit. So,
So like I'm thinking in my head, it's like, is that like either you just have it or you don't? I'm not talking about like talent wise, but it's just like that spark for something, right?
yeah,
Like either like I'm pretty sure everybody has it, right? Like everybody's just different.
yeah, yeah,
Because I think like even for the people that are more like that enjoy like reading books, right? Like I'm not a reader. So like for me, like that's not a spark for me. But like for a lot of people, like they just fucking love reading books.
You know what it is? I think in my head, I feel like people are born. It's kind of like 2K sliders. You know what I mean? Like certain people are like,
you got your own stats.
yeah. So like your music thing was like the highest one. You know how like
Yeah.
when you start a video game, your character starts off with like base stats, but there's
Yeah.
like one that's like higher than the others, and that's like your specialty.
Yeah.
I think everybody has something like that.
Yeah, and
You know what I'm saying?
I do believe that too. I think everybody has that thing that they're like special stat in the
Yeah.
category of like whatever. I don't know what the
I
category
like
is.
you guys like that, huh? The 2K sliders. That's some shit.
Yeah, and then I guess like music was just like a number one thing for me, I guess, because like even now too, even if I think about like, okay, like if I don't do music, I would still listen to music. Like I would still like really enjoy it.
Can't separate yourself from it.
Yeah, because like I've noticed it like when I'm like feeling kind of down, right? And then like I listen to, doesn't matter, whatever I feel that day, and I'm just like, oh man, like I really like this, like so like it just kind of brings my mood up, and then that's what I've been doing a lot lately. It's like whatever I feel like listening to, like I'm just gonna listen to that instead of like trying to focus on always creating music, I guess. Yeah.
So it sounds like you've always had an attachment to music, which naturally puts you in the creative box because
Yeah.
music is one of the most creative things you can do. So
Yeah, I think I've always been kind of like an artist, but I never looked at it that way. I mean, at least like when I was growing up, right? I enjoyed music, but I never thought, oh, I should do this. I should do this as a career.
right,
Because I
like
think,
to you, you're just doing music.
yeah,
yeah.
I think because in the Philippines, especially, creatives is not like, I guess, highlighted as much. I'm not. I don't know if I explain that.
No, you're 100%.
Like they don't really like.
dead on.
They just like, oh, find a good job, go to school, find a good job, right?
Think about how many YouTube videos there are of these little girls at the mall that can sing their asses off,
Yeah,
but we don't know who they are.
It's true.
exactly.
There's so much talent in our people, bro, and it's not something that is culturally supported the way that
Yeah.
we support nurses and doctors.
And,
like,
and I think it's like,
change that, by the way.
so Philippines, from my perspective, I see it as everybody loves to sing out there. Even the people that can't sing, they still do it. Like
Right.
everybody loves doing karaoke and like, every party there's always karaoke happening, right?
That is true.
But then when it comes to like pursuing it as a career, then all of a sudden, like at least for the most part, like it's not really like supported like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are some people that are like, yeah, go for it, but like, at least maybe it's because it's like a third world country, right? Like we're already struggling. What are you gonna do with it? You know?
That, and also I feel like we need to break the generational curse.
Yeah.
We need to be the generation that breaks that cycle
Yeah.
of not supporting artistic endeavors.
Like
You
for
know what I
real
mean?
though, like I feel it because I know for a fact that a lot of people out there with a lot of talent, and all they're getting is a bombardment from people telling them that shit's not gonna get you anywhere. You know? What I mean?
Yeah, and then
It
like
sucks.
in all those questions, especially like when they say like, oh, how are you gonna make money? And then like, it's already hard enough to do it.
Yeah.
And then if you're getting questioned all the time from everybody around you,
Yeah.
like it's already like you're fighting a losing battle.
Yep.
Basically. So Yeah, so for the longest time, I never thought of a creative thing to be my career until I would say maybe like late 20s when I decided I was just like, you know what? I think this was like after I graduated college and then I was working on a job for a year. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then after a year, I'm just like looking around. I was like, is this going to be my life for the next 45 years? And that shit was just like, not gonna be. And that's when I started like vlogging, is because like I was watching a lot of YouTube channels, and then like Casey Neistat was like one of my favorite like YouTubers, and I'm just like, man, that's a cool life. He's just like taking videos and like, you know, like, he's just living his life. So like that was kind of like the first really like spark for me, and I was just like, all right, I need a different route instead of just having the regular. And then there's nothing wrong with living a regular life if that's what you want.
Boring. Fucking suck, bro.
No, for
But it, like it's,
I mean,
yeah, I mean,
cool,
you're
like
not
it,
wrong.
but
Like
shit.
it is boring for me to just live that. So
I mean,
yeah.
I work a fucking 9 to 5 job, man. I mean, well, actually, what is it? 9 to 7, actually, technically for me. But when I look at the people around me, and like I just see people working and shit, I'm like, dude, this can't be the fucking
let's
life.
just
you know
call
I
it
mean?
what it is. Everybody who has a 9 to 5, we're all doing it because it's a means to an
Yeah,
end. We got bills to
yeah,
pay.
we're doing it
but
'cause of
none of
that.
us are there because that's what our dream is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
pretty sure I speak for a majority of people when I say that.
100%, bro.
for sure.
110% shit. Because if you think about it, a lot of people over there, they're just trying to like fucking make money to do whatever they want, but they're not
Yeah.
pursuing their shit
Right.
because they're so fucking tired from that job that
Oh,
they're
that-
doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like once you work that like 9 to 5 job, right? Yes, you have a little bit of time, but then when you get rest,
By the
and then,
time
like,
by the time you're out of your job, like when you get out, you don't have the mental capacity to even
yeah,
Dude, 100%.
do or put time towards what it is you're passionate about.
yeah. But then you also like, I understand that part, but then I'm also kind of like on the opposite side of it too. It's just like, if you really want to change your life, like fuck it. Like if you only have an hour to make shit happen, then fuck
Take
it.
it.
Use that hour, dude.
Fucking take it.
Like what else are you gonna use that hour for? Like you're gonna watch Netflix? When don't get me wrong, I fucking love watching Netflix. But then it's also like a lot of the time I'm working on like building something.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question? Like I don't know if that was
Yeah, no, it's good because it went through your origin of how you got into it.
Segue
yeah.
to second part of his question.
Okay. What was the second part? Was it a collaborative?
No,
one?
it's about the consistency.
Oh, consistency.
Since it sounds like we're kind of talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that. So you just mentioned, taking an hour of your day to put towards your passions.
Yeah.
You obviously spend more than an hour a day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, tell the people what's up.
Well, so to be completely honest, what my life is right now at this very moment. So this is, I would wake up maybe around like 8 or 9, depending on how I feel. Then, doing my morning routines and blah, blah, blah. And then I would start driving Uber. Sometimes I would edit before I drive Uber, or edit, make music, whatever I feel that day. Like it has to be like one of those two. Just because it's just like, all right, I only have 24 hours in a day, right? So I gotta get something in. So I would maybe like do my creative work for 2 hours, and then in the afternoon, that's when I start driving. I would say probably from like 12 to like 5-ish, and then sometimes later. It doesn't like depends on like if I hit my daily goal. And after that, like I have to fit like somewhere in there. Like I have to eat lunch, so like that's probably like 30 minutes to an hour. And then like if I need to take a break or whatever, like in between that, like 12 to 5, right? And then after that at night, I would either shoot a podcast or edit the podcast or edit videos or make music and whatever until you know, I go to sleep usually at like 12 or 1. So that 6 hours, probably like 3 hours of that is like I would work on something, and sometimes I would just chill or like watch movies. Just because sometimes I just need a break. Like I don't feel like making shit, so like I'm not gonna force myself.
Downtime is just as important.
Yeah, because I've realized, because I used to force myself like before too. I'm like, man, if I'm not hustling right now, like I'm like putting myself in that situation of just like you're a piece of shit for watching TV, because like I'm resting. I mean, like I don't know if watching TV is like really resting, but like hey, fuck it. Like I need a downtime, right? Like I don't know.
Okay, let me also throw this in. If you're doing anything creative, no matter what it is, you also need to experience life
That is true.
so that you can have something to create about.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
true.
Like, it's kind of like, let's just take musicians, for example, singers, rappers. You notice, like, even Kendrick Lamar, as fans, we wait forever for new music from him, right? But when he does put something out, it's fucking amazing.
Immaculate, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's because, like, give you an example. Me, as a selfish Kendrick Lamar fan, before he put out Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, that was like a 5-year wait, right? And in my head, I was like, come on, bro, why it take you so long? And then he released the album cover. I felt like an asshole because in his album cover, there was 2 kids. And I was like, oh, I'm a dick because you became a father, had 2 kids. Of course, you need time to go live life.
Yeah, because I think in your mind it's probably like, oh, Kendrick Lamar,
Like,
artist.
he's just writing
Yeah.
every day, you know?
It's like
in my head, he just freestyling, writing rhymes every day. That's
and
probably
I
not.
think it's like when we look at celebrities, we don't think of them as regular people.
Right.
Because they're just like, oh, you're making a shit ton of money. You get to do what you love. But then it's like, I don't think that's like really the life, right?
No.
Like
Yeah.
they still have a life outside
Exactly. They're human beings.
of
They're
their
just like
job.
us.
Like that's their job. Like they're a fucking celebrity. Like
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I do have to live life outside of that too. So like that's my I guess that's my like daily routine. Like obviously it changes depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like that's why like I don't really get to hang out with a lot of people all the time, and it's just like I just don't have time, dude.
Yeah.
And like I try to make. So that's the thing. When I hang out with people, like I want to make sure that I'm like present.
Yeah.
Like I want to make sure like I'm 100% there.
Yeah.
Like if I don't have the energy to like deal with people, then I'm just like I can't. Like you know, like you ask me sometimes, like, oh, you want to go for a walk? I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't really have the energy. And then like I want to work on something, and it's just like. It's like if I either work or this or like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just have to balance things, and like I do feel bad, but I just like
Feel
okay,
bad
I get
shit.
it.
I mean, if that's you, do you,
Okay,
bro?
it is what it is.
Awareness goes a long way.
Yeah, it's like
Exactly.
I'd rather hang out with you when I'm in the mood to hang out
Yeah.
with you. You know what I mean? Like that goes for everybody, all my friends, and like my family as well too. Like unfortunately, like that's just how it is. Like sometimes we guilt ourselves, but then it's like, what's really the right thing to do, right? Like if I'm not 100%, like if I don't want to be around people,
Yeah.
like is that really the version of me you want around you? Like you know what I
Real
mean?
though, honestly.
Personally, the people I'm surrounded, my friends and my group, my circle, they appreciate my honesty and they accept it for what it is because you guys know me. I don't
Yeah.
sugarcoat anything. I tell it
true.
like it is. And Sierra said one thing to me that really spoke to me when she said, I never have to wonder what it is you're thinking because you always just say it.
Yeah,
And I was like, wow,
that's good.
that's really deep because I don't know what it's like to be not like that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So,
That's good because you're like real to yourself. You're authentic.
Yeah.
You know, versus being like trying to fit in with everybody else.
yeah. The like, if I don't like you, you probably know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm probably not talking to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's just what it is.
But yeah, I guess like consistency, when we're talking about consistency, is like the reason why I'm consistent. I think I'm consistent. I don't know. Like I don't.
Pretty
You
damn
sure are,
consistent,
bro.
I don't
Shit.
know what like because sometimes I feel like I'm not. That's the thing. Like when I'm not working, I'm guilty. Like I feel guilty.
Bro, I'm not saying this. I'm not just saying this because I'm your friend, but literally, you are one of the most hardworking people I know. Like every day I hop on Instagram, there's something,
Always.
and I'm not saying that because I'm tired of seeing it. Like,
Yeah.
like wow, dude. I wish I could be like that. I wish I was putting out the stuff that I want to talk about once a fucking day. Like,
Hey, I mean, you
know what
can, dude.
I know.
Like, I know
I'm
we
trying
had
to get
we had this talk.
We
before.
had this talk,
Yeah.
but you are already being an example.
Yeah.
So I just want you to know that. Maybe you know, I don't know if you get enough engagement from your viewers, but as somebody that has known you for a while and as somebody who just is an observer, you're putting in work, my friend.
Yeah. You know, I had this thought last night. That's why I wanted to like do this podcast today. That fuck, I might cry in the podcast. That would be the first.
Hey, what better, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I'm like, fuck, dude, this is my therapy, man. Like, fuck going to therapy. I'll just do my podcast.
Yeah, you got us,
put
bro.
that shit out. Put that shit out in the world, dude. Put my problems out in the world. So I was watching this Tori Kelly interview. And one of the questions she was asked, like, so what was your like proudest moment when you like finally made it? And then her answer was like, oh man, when I released my first album, she was like very proud of it, right? Because like obviously like hard work and like I don't know how much, you know, she's great. Like I love Tori Kelly. So like when she said that, she was like, I was so excited, I was so happy to release an album just because like she put in all the hard work and then it was like starting to like finally like
Fruition.
I guess. Yeah, and like just be out in the world and then it's for that itself, like releasing art out in the world should just be like that, right? Like that's the goal. Like regardless of what the number is.
You're sharing a part of you when you release something
Exactly.
like that. Yeah.
Like you're releasing your art out for everybody to see. And I was thinking about that. I was just like, huh. When I released my album, I didn't feel like I did the thing. When I released so much music. I mean, I could release more, but then that's probably like my trauma, right? Like fucking like you need to do more. Like this is gonna be the constant theme. This like I need to do more when I don't need to. Like I've released 2 albums, released an EP, few singles. That's a lot of music. But then I don't feel like I did the thing. I was always looking forward to like what's next. Maybe because all right, this is part of it. Is because part of me is like not happy with the numbers. Oh, there's only a few people that listen to it. Only my friends like my music. Like no one's listening. Who cares? I was like it doesn't feel like I'm made it. Which is externally it doesn't look like that, right? Because like the number's not there, the money's not there. Like what's the point of all this? You know what I mean?
Maybe that feeling that Tori Kelly was talking about is something else for you. Maybe it's not releasing an album.
Yeah.
Maybe you might not even know what that is. You might not know until it happens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That could be a thing, like something maybe 2 years from now, 6 months from now, 45 days and 35 minutes from now, something happens and you'll be like, oh, that's
the
that
feeling.
moment.
Yeah. Because I remember I've talked about this before. When I performed at Basecamp Festival, that was the first time I played at a festival, the first time I've been to a festival. So that's already kind of like a really cool accomplishment, right?
Yeah.
And then when I was performing at stage, there was a moment because in my mind, I was just like, man, if I perform at a festival like that shit, like I made it, like that's it.
Yeah.
And then there was a moment at the festival, like I really had like, obviously I had fun, like I enjoyed, like you guys were there.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed like interacting with the crowd and just seeing my friends there. And there was a moment, just a little bit where I'm just like, oh shit, like I'm at the spot where like this was my dream, right? Like to just like perform at a festival. But then I was just like, I felt empty. I was just like, huh.
Damn, that's deep.
Like, I thought I would feel so much better.
You thought you would feel a lot lighter.
Yeah, because like before that, I played shows and I played a house party, and it felt the same. It felt the same as a house party. It felt the same as the shows that there's only 4 people in the crowd, and it just didn't feel different. Like it felt,
That's interesting.
it felt the same. Like obviously there was like excitement.
Yeah.
Because like more crowds, that means more energy
Right,
that's
right.
like interacting with.
I love the honesty right now. Keep going.
But yeah, there was like a really brief moment. I was just like, huh. I thought it would feel different, but it doesn't. Maybe when people say like, oh, once you get rich and famous, like, I think it was, I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Jim Carrey that said this. Like, I want everybody to be rich and famous, and then realize that that's not really the answer.
And go, yeah.
Because like everybody from the outside looking in, right? Like, oh, if I'm rich and famous, I'll be happy. But like, that's not really the truth. It's I don't know, like something about happiness that is just always kind of always in pursuit, right? Pursuit of
Yeah,
happiness.
I guess so. Damn, I just got a deep thought. But honestly, for me, the happiest I feel is literally when I'm in front of a waterfall or like in front of a lake and I'm just existing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know that might sound weird to some people, but I'm just being honest. To me, that's when I'm the calmest. That's when my brain's not going 100 miles an hour. That's when I can feel like I'm breathing correctly, like I should be. And I have no worries. I have like me personally going out in nature and hearing water running is like the most calming, it's the happiest that I feel personally.
It's your inner peace.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's just because the way life and society is now, it takes you so far away from just existing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that when you get a dose of that, it feels so refreshing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like I think like when you feel joy or happiness, it's just that you're living in a moment. Like you're not thinking about anything else. You're just enjoying whatever you got going on in front of you.
Big fact.
You know, it's different for a lot of people. It's, you know, for you it's waterfalls. You know, like I love going hiking. I like going swimming at the lake. It's like I do have fun doing that. Like I feel happy. Like I'm not worrying about shit. And it's like, I think as an overachiever for me, like it's sometimes I think that my happiness is out there but the truth is like I'm happy when I'm just like chilling, you know? Like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I love doing this. I love trying to accomplish something, and I love all that. But sometimes I get caught up in it when it's like, if the numbers are not right, if I'm not making it, it's like I feel like a failure, right? So like the pressure is there, so I don't feel the joy. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like now it becomes a goal. It becomes like something that I need to achieve instead of just, this is it. Like, oh, do you want to be a podcaster? Like, this is it. I'm doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who cares if people are listening? Who cares if I'm making money? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I really wanted to be a podcaster or a YouTuber, like, you just gotta do the thing.
You're
Like,
already doing it.
yeah, like and then like that's the thing. It's like I'm doing it, but then the trauma side of me is just like, no, not yet. Like you haven't reached the numbers, so like I can't. There's a part of me that doesn't want to say I'm a podcaster, YouTuber because I haven't reached a certain goal.
Right. You haven't got the Grammy yet. I got you.
Yeah.
Do you think that you're comparing yourself to other podcasters? If that's
Oh
the
yeah,
case?
all the time.
Like all the big ones. So,
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my favorite ones right now is like, I love Bobby Lee's just because he's funny. I love all the self-development ones too.
course,
And then
of
Joe
course.
Rogan's just because like he has like interesting guests in there. So yeah, it's I try not to compare when it comes to like the numbers, but then sometimes I do compare myself as like, man, if I get to that point, like, what would my life be like? If I'm just doing podcast full time, like, what would that be like? Like, am I gonna be happier then? I don't know. Maybe it's a different problem, right?
Yeah.
more money, more problems.
Hey, honestly,
More money, different problems.
Yeah.
what I'm realizing as I experience more stuff is, no matter how comfortable you get or where you are, where you feel like you've gotten there,
Yeah.
there's always a different problem. Something always happens. And I think I'm starting to realize this is just life. This is just the natural cycle of life. No matter where you are, no matter how rich you are, no matter how mentally healthy you are, something is always bound to happen.
Yeah.
And
It's true.
also, part of life is learning how to react when something happens, right? So the lessons are never going to end. There's, you might solve this problem, that problem now, and then something else will happen that's not even related to those problems.
Yeah.
There's always going to be something.
Like, because like right now we have money problems, right? Like we're just like
Pretty sure everybody does.
Yeah, like we're just no, but I'm talking about like there's different levels to it. So like
True.
Oh, for sure.
so yeah, like right now it seems like a lot of the people in our circle is just like, oh, having money problems, like yeah, paying bills and blah blah blah. But then like when you get the money, it's like it's gonna be a different problem, I think. Like I don't think it's necessarily will solve everything. Like it will solve a lot of things,
Right.
but then it's gonna create other
There's
things
other
too.
problems that aren't money related that
Yeah.
will come up. And that will
Exactly.
happen.
It's like it's just like a different like thing that you gotta solve. Because like I saw this post on Instagram, like Pokimane, like she's one of the biggest streamers ever. And then like she was doing like a Q&A, and then one of the questions was like, oh, how does it feel like when you're like living your dream and your passion and like being like, I guess like living in your purpose, right? And then like, are you happy and all that stuff? And then her answer was just like, if you figure it out, let me know. Like I thought like doing the thing would make you happy, but then it's just like it really isn't.
I bet you for somebody
Sometimes.
like her, she probably like feels like she has no privacy. She's online
Yeah.
all the time. Like
Because like
people have access to her like all the time.
yeah, because sometimes we look at it
Yeah.
like a lot of people think that rich people don't have problems. Like they don't have money problems, but they have
Other problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's easy to say like, oh, like when people like sometimes when they're like, oh, just like live your life and be happy. When rich people say that, and they're like, poor people would always say like, oh, it's easy for you to say because you have all the money and like you can do whatever the fuck you want. But then it's like
The rich folks probably don't have as many
they don't have time.
friends that
Yeah.
they can trust.
Exactly.
Or people that like them for who they are, not just because of their money. Shit like that, you know?
Yeah, and then like if you're like at that level, you're probably working so much. It's like what's your life like?
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm already having this problem now, it's like I don't have time for shit. Like I wonder what it's gonna be like.
Yeah.
And sometimes that scares me. It's like if I get to that point, right? Like whatever my number is that like how hard do I need to work to get to that point?
Oh.
And it's like sometimes it's like, yes, I want to be like a millionaire and blah blah blah, but then I'm just like, huh. Like to get to that point, like you really need to like
Try hard.
work.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's that gonna look like, but I don't know. I'll let you know a few years from now.
Illuminati, if you're watching, tell me who I gotta sacrifice. Which cousin? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, there's always
shit.
shortcuts that you can take,
know?
right?
For
But then
real.
it's just like that, and they take something else. But yeah, when it comes to consistency, like did that answer the question of just?
I know you gotta ask straight from Hell 14.
I know. Let me
think you
know.
don't.
Comments down below.
Dove pretty deep into that.
Hey, shout outs to the homie though who
For
put in the
real.
question.
Yeah, this is a good topic. I enjoy this. I guess we can do
Is there another one?
collaboration. I mean, I collaborate with a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like your niche. You're Mr.
Yeah.
Collaborate.
You know what it is? When you mentioned it earlier, like when I have guests here, I give them the spotlight, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm kind of like that and like in person as well. I like to, at least I like to think so. I mean, other people probably have different perspective, but it's just like I like sharing the spotlight. Because for me, this is such a normal thing for me now. Podcasts, music. So I feel like I'm already been I guess I'm already in the spotlight, for a lack of a better word, in a way.
You've had a camera in front of your face since we were kids. So.
Yeah, so like I like to give people a chance to like speak their truth, and share their experience and put them in a spotlight, because not a lot of people have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And that's why when I have a guest, I always just like, let's talk about you.
Yeah. And you've created a platform. For
Because it's like, for a lot of people, they don't want to be a star. They don't want to be, they don't have that big dream to be in a spotlight. I mean, not everybody wants to be that. So like, to have people share their story, even if it's just like, I don't know, like normal, regular person, right? Like, I want the conversation to be coming from like normal people, in a way. Like, I don't know, does that sound bad? Like normal people?
No, dude.
It's
Honestly,
like,
If anything, we're all normal people.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
so like, not everybody needs to be in the spotlight. So like, any chance I can give to like, I don't know, like for some people, like being on a podcast seems cool to them. For me, I'm just like, oh, I'm just doing another one, and that's probably just like my overachiever, right? In a way, it's just like, oh, this is just a normal thing for me now. So it's like,
JERiCK is the DJ Khaled of podcasts. He's like,
here's another one. So yeah, like I would love to give people a chance to just like highlight and stuff. That's why I love collaborating in like music. Like we've made music together,
Yeah.
and like,
You just missing the wings, my boy. This is kind of like your hot ones without the wings.
Yeah.
You know?
that's true.
yeah, and that's why like I love like collaborating with people too, just because I get to hear. I'm just speaking from the podcast perspective. I get to hear people's stories. Everybody has different experiences, different from mine.
Yes.
And I'm always kind of a curious person. It's like I shine in one-on-one environments, I feel like, because like we've had
Kobe.
I know, I fucking ISO you. Because like when I'm hanging out in a group, I don't like I mean, I don't get a chance to like have a serious conversation.
There's a
with
lot of
people.
things going on.
Yeah, like we're just like, oh, having fun, like drinking or whatever. So it's like, it's not the time to like do real talks with people.
Yeah.
We're just like catching up.
Whereas
like,
here, you could do a deep dive with your
Yeah.
guests and your friends. Yeah.
so like, I prefer having like deep talks like this, because it really does energize me. I don't know if people feel the same way.
My boy trying to get deep, ladies.
Yeah, slide,
My bad.
slide into the DMs.
I just wanted to add real quick though. So I've been on your podcast multiple times, and every time we've had a guest speaker of any sort, it's like I've met all these people in person, but I've not met them as a human being.
Yeah.
And an actual person. It's crazy because the people that we've interviewed and talked to so far, I never thought those stories about them, the shit that they went through and all the like it's so interesting that you'd see somebody and then we would just judge them right off the back by what they look like, but we don't really know who they are on the inside. But like interviewing these people and just talking to them, it's crazy because I've never met that side of them.
Yeah.
And it gives me a more of a different appreciation for them as a person. And it's like eye-opening in a sense.
And it's like, I've had a couple episodes too where the guest was like, oh, I never thought I would share that, but it just came out.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like I'm pretty good at I guess people are just comfortable around me to like share things, but but then now everybody's listening out there, so like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I always tell the guests too that I don't really edit the podcast. So like, if you don't want to say things on the podcast, then don't say it. Like, I'm not gonna force questions out of you, or answers out of you, but it's just like, if you don't want to say it, then don't say it.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't talk about your baby mama on the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Just because it's like, for me, I want this podcast to be
As real as it gets.
exactly. I want it to be authentic, because like, there's a lot of podcasts out there that are like nonsense, and I do listen to those. Like, it's funny. Like, I love listening to like all the funny ones, and then like I have fun watching it. But then I also enjoy like the really deep ones too.
Yeah.
So like, for me, I want a combination in all of that. Like, I want us to have fun here. I want us to joke around. But then I also want to have like deep conversations like this.
I'm still waiting for the day that you guys do shrooms on here
Oh, shit.
live.
I mean,
Don't threaten me with a good time. Yeah.
I know exactly. I would do that, honestly.
Okay,
Later,
I think whenever he gets done with his first trip,
And then we should
talk about it and all do shrooms that day.
That's true. That'd be fun.
Bing, bing.
But yeah, that's
I just want to mention, like, props to you though for creating such a platform where people are able to share that side of them and be vulnerable. You know what I mean? Because I don't think you could put a price on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like, I remember we had Alex on the podcast, and he shared so many things that I didn't even know about him, and I've known him for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, we've never had a deep, serious conversation like that before, and then he just freaking talked about his life in the podcast. And
a lot of times when we're around Alex, we're also like around other things that are going on, parties, in dance class. Like, he doesn't get to share who he really is.
And that's why it was
know what I mean?
it was funny. He was like, "Oh, I would love to be in your podcast." And in my mind, I'm just like, "What are we gonna talk about?"
Yeah, and then he had so much to
I know.
say.
I was like, it really surprised me. I was like, "Oh shit!" Like,
Homie's been through
Okay.
a lot, bro.
Like-
Shout outs to Alex.
yeah, better be watching right now, bro. I better see that comment down below.
I feel like here you get more of an intimate version of everybody. It's like having a relationship with
Yeah.
a female or whatever guy circle, whatever you feel like.
funny.
But you get, because I know I wouldn't share any of this shit just to like any random people that I just come across.
Yeah,
It's like, it feels like to me, it feels like when I used to have a female, a girlfriend or something. It's like I would share with them like my personal, intimate stuff. And this is a spot right here where we're able to do so.
the
And it
funny
feels
thing
okay.
is like, it's very intimate, but then it's also very public, because
Yeah.
like, anybody out there could be watching right now.
Right.
And listening to this conversation. But then for me, I still want to have this conversation, because everybody needs to hear something from this, right? Like, obviously not every episode is going to resonate with people.
Right.
Even like my podcast, maybe they just don't like me. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? But like, somebody out there is listening and leaving cool comments like, apparently I'm an inspiration.
I mean, how are you not, bro?
Yeah, but it's just like, I joke around, just like, oh, like, I'm not really, but it's like, yeah, I kind of am. But it's just like, you never know I always say this, you never know who's listening out there.
Yeah.
Because for me, when I hear a podcast that I really like, that really resonated with me, it changes it changes your life a little bit.
Let me ask you this: how many podcasts do you listen to that you leave comments on? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true.
Check.
That is true.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that shit
I
just
mean-
sounded just like,
Oh, my bad.
it's funny because I do see the views, right? How many people that viewed it, but then no comments,
Dude, I
no
watch
likes.
so many podcasts and videos and talk shows where I don't leave shit.
Yeah, and
don't even hit-
you're right though, because like, I watched so many podcasts, liked it,
Yeah.
never liked it, never commented, never said anything. I mean, sometimes I do. Like, if I really see a video that I'm just like, all right, I feel like commenting right now, then I do. But for the most part, probably 95% of the time, maybe 99% of the time, I don't say anything.
what I'm
But
saying.
then it's just like, yeah, that really changed my life, but I never said anything. So like, I guess that's kind of would be that's a really good perspective, is because sometimes like, fuck, like I'm posting all this shit, nobody said anything, no one cares. You know, like when I post the clips, right?
Yeah.
Some people do like it on Instagram, but did they really watch it? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, but then for me, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, the people that are gonna watch it will watch it, and that's just for them. Like, who cares about like the people that are just like, oh, here's just another JERiCK post, and like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but then because like I can't be mad about it, is because I'm kind of the same way. I see people's posts, I'm just like, eh. Just move on. Like, I just move on with my life, dude. It's just like, who cares?
JERiCK
Like,
just exposed himself right now.
hey, okay, dude. This
You know, it's funny. I just got done with that photo shoot I did last week.
I liked it.
You did. I'm not saying anything bad, but that's not about you. But I noticed when I was like looking at, because I got at least 100 people who viewed it.
Yeah.
And I was just looking. There was only like a few people, including you, who liked it or stuff. And I was like noticing, it's like, all these motherfuckers looked at it, but they didn't like a single shit. Son of a bitch. But
Yeah.
I thought to myself, you know, maybe you know, because these people, maybe they just wanted to see what's up or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I thought that would like bring me down, like make me feel like shit, but it didn't. I just thought to myself, maybe there's a reason why they're not liking the post or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the funny thing about social media, right? Because the metrics, we think that, oh, if people like it, that means it's valuable.
Yeah.
That's not really true. There's a lot of videos out there that has a lot of likes that are like nonsense. And then there's a lot of videos out there that nobody ever likes. And then it's just like, you know, like, what is really value, right?
Yeah.
So like, for people to just scroll through your stuff, but then that's the thing, is like, it's everybody got their own shit to worry about.
Yeah.
So like, seeing your video, seeing my video, seeing my post, like, who really cares? You know what I mean? Like, people got problems. Like, you know, like, not everybody has to watch my videos. But that's the thing, is like, for me, I'm just gonna post it, and whoever watches it, cool. If not, then fuck it.
I think that's the right perspective, because sometimes the post that you think is gonna get engagement doesn't get engagement, and then
Yeah.
you post some stupid shit and it gets so much people like responding, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I post some deep shit on Instagram and I'll get a couple people responding, and then other times I'll post a video of me playing with my cat, and then everybody's like, "Oh,
everybody loves cat
Yeah.
videos. That's the hack right there. If you want to go viral, cat videos.
Yeah.
You should make an Instagram for your cat. Or make a YouTube channel for your cat, dude. If I had a cat, man, that cat would be a fucking celebrity, bro.
My cat's a goofball. So.
But yeah,
It's crazy though, because like just like you said, it's like when you post like good shit that's valuable to people, it's like only very certain people watch it versus something stupid.
that's the thing, is
crazy.
like, when you post something that is, I don't know, for a lack of a better term, intellectual,
Yeah.
it's hard. Sometimes it's hard for people to like get deep.
Yeah.
So like, listening to deep conversations,
You gotta be in the mood for it.
yeah, and it's sometimes like, it's tough to just, like, when you're not in the mindset for that, like, you're just not in the mood
Yeah.
for it.
No, it's true. True.
So like, the post that gets a lot of interest, right? Like a cat video. That's not like it's such a easy consumable. They're like, oh, if you see a cat, they'll just like it. Like, you know, it's. But then if you watch like a 2-minute video of like a serious talk, is like, I don't have time for 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, it's. And then you have to really be in the mood to listen to
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
That's very true, actually, because I've come across some of your podcasts and where I'm like, I just kind of scroll through.
Yeah.
But like,
It's
when-
because you weren't in the
Yeah,
state
I
of
wasn't-
mind that was
exactly.
ready to receive that.
and then the ones that I did like, I fucking took in and absorbed the shit out of that.
And like, that's my intention. Is like, yes, I try to post every day, 1 clip a day, just because, like, you know, keep up with the algorithm. So like, in my intention is like I want people to watch it, but then like I just want people like that are ready to watch it to like enjoy it and like absorb what the lessons are from this conversation.
Yeah.
And that's why I just like try to post every day. Like fuck it, like if people watch it, cool. If
Yeah,
not,
no,
then-
don't stop, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
But yeah,
correct.
because like I really like when it comes going back to collaboration though, like I really do love working with people, especially if people are like, genuine. Like I'm not gonna collaborate with some random person just to collaborate.
Right.
Like I just have to like I need good energy around me, so I just focus on those people, and then some people come around.
That's true.
But yeah, that's the reason why I collaborate with people. And then I guess what are trials and tribulations of that? I don't know if there's really any trial.
Everything.
Everything. Scheduling. People are late. I'm late sometimes.
Filipino time be a bitch. Bro.
Yeah, that's true.
It's in our genetics, bro.
But yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I feel like I don't have any like trials or like problems working with people because I choose to work with people that I want to work with. I'm not gonna work with people that are just like, it's not my vibe, you know. So like, I'm not gonna put myself in that situation. So no problems there.
We can start acting up if you want.
It's a takeover. It's a takeover.
I know. I'm probably the most JERiCK can tolerate. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's true.
That's probably where he draws the line.
If you pass Rafi's line, then you're out.
Oh man.
Well, yeah. Do you have any other questions? I guess like that's all the
Actually,
questions
I
that they
do.
got.
Since we're still on the creative subject, what's your thought process on any of your creations? Like how do you get like inspiration from the things that you do?
Are you talking about just like music?
You could be music. I mean, because I know
Saying
you
everything.
Yeah, everything. Just in general, like you could talk about music. Because I know you do the music.
Yeah.
And like podcasts and stuff. Like you come up with topics all the time, and like
Yeah, so for the podcast, like I try to focus on the topics that are like mind opening. So like I know this podcast can get really deep sometimes, and like some people are just not ready for that, and that's fine. But like it's for me is I want to break people's kind of perspective in a way that's like I don't want them to take my words to be like
End all be all.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want you to question everything. Question me, you know what I mean? Like question whatever I say. Just question everything. So like having conversations like that, especially like psychedelics, right? Very taboo. But I still want to have that conversation is because like you never know if that's going to be the trigger for the people that are listening and be like, "Huh. Like if they're really talking about this as like a good thing when I thought of this for all my life that it's a bad thing. Like is this something that I need to like think about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like change my perspective or don't. You know what I mean? It's like for me it's like when going back to like giving advice, right? When I give an advice, take it or don't. I don't care. Like I'm gonna give you what I think is good for you, but then ultimately it's like at the end of the day, you're the one that's changing your life, right? So yeah, for a podcast I want to have like I guess interesting conversations that people can get something from and learn from. And then music wise, I don't know, I just enjoy all sorts of music that I just try to make something that is I guess like if I enjoy like a specific kind of like let's say R&B or like pop,
Yeah.
like like I want to create something like that, and then I kind of like try to in a way like I guess I don't know, imitate if it's the right word. I'm inspired to make
Draw inspiration.
Yeah, exactly. So like, yeah, like that's why it's hard for me to like make something cohesive sometimes. Like the album, like sometimes it's just like it needs to sonically everything needs to sound kind of, I guess,
Uniform.
uniform. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's like even though some of it is like different genres,
Yeah.
but I still want it to have like that unified sound. And that's why like sometimes releasing single is just easier, just because like, oh, I want to make
Because
this.
it's not tied to anything
Yeah,
else.
like you're just making this one song and then like that's it. Like
Yeah.
it could just be that song and not be like a full body of
That
work.
makes sense.
I think releasing a single is kind of like I for a musician or an artist is kind of like as a dancer when you freestyle.
Yeah,
It's kind of like it doesn't have to have a theme. It's just there.
yeah. You just need to get that out.
Yeah. Whereas the album is like the choreography where everything is, this part is like this because my intention was this. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of like I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but it's pretty similar. There's a lot of parallels between that.
Yeah,
feel
and like, so when you said like sometimes you get inspiration, right?
Yeah.
So last night, I really felt like I needed to say this today. That's why I texted you guys today, like, hey, you guys want to record a podcast? Just because like part of me was just like needed to say something that I was like whatever I was thinking in my head, and mostly it was just because like that, like why was I not happy like making an album? Like after releasing albums, I'm just like, huh. Like I was just always on to the next thing. Like I never celebrated it in a way, or like being kind of, because I remember releasing a song with Ray too. I think it was like Moonlight or something. He was so excited because it was his first song.
Right.
And
you were like, yeah, it's another song.
like I just like we had this conversation, and then he was like, man, like we just released my first song, like it's out on Spotify or whatever. He was so excited, and then I was just looking at him. I was like, well, how come I don't feel that excited? Like I was just like seeing the excitement from his perspective, and like,
Dude, I was like nervous that I was on, like I used Tidal. I was nervous because I use Tidal, and when I saw our shit on Tidal, I was like, oh shit, I get bumped. I slapped this in the whip. You know what I mean? Like, and it took me a few listens to even be comfortable hearing myself.
yeah,
I don't know if you remember me like telling you like I don't like how I sound, right? And then
Yeah.
after like a few listens, I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, it takes a little bit of getting used to.
yeah, and like that's the hard part too, right? When you release an art, sometimes you're the hardest critic of that art.
That is true.
Like it doesn't matter what it is. Like you look at it, and it's just like it needs to be perfect. Otherwise, it's not good enough.
Sometimes I'm scared to share that song with people just because I'm like, they're gonna be like, why is he rapping? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's
But-
like I do feel like that sometimes too when people ask me like, so what do you do? I just go back to like my typical answer, like, oh, I do photography, video. Like I don't go deep into it, but like sometimes I never tell people I do music. I never do I don't tell them I do podcasts, like all the cool shit I'm doing. Like part of me is not proud enough to share it.
Hmm.
I think it's because once again the number is not there.
Yeah.
Like how can I call myself a podcaster when like no one's listening? You know what I mean?
I think what it is like you may think that way, but
Yeah.
other people think you're a podcaster, just like that guy who asked that question.
Yeah.
Because you're touched. I think you're a podcaster for sure, 100%. The reason why is because I feel like you're getting engagement now with these your what is it called, your fans
Subscribe.
and their subscribers.
Yeah.
And so we actually have people like listening to this stuff.
Yeah.
And they're getting like so much information and details that they might not even know that it's helping them in their reality.
Yeah.
So I think in a sense you're looking at it one way, but I'm looking at it in a
It's
different
like
way.
glass half full, glass half
Yeah.
empty, right? Like depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
It's like because that every episode usually averages about like 50, 50 views on
That's pretty
average.
good.
Sometimes more, sometimes less. That's 50 people if you really think about it. Like
Can I ask real quick? Does it show that if they've watched the full thing?
not necessarily. It does show the average.
What's the average?
Like sometimes like 6-8 minutes out of whatever hours, but then it's like that's tricky, right? Because
Yeah.
like sometimes the autoplay, I think that counts, and then sometimes people only watch for a little bit and then stop and then
Or they get
go back into it.
distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or sometimes people just fucking like leave after like, oh, I'm bored with this, and that's fine because I do the same thing too. So it's like,
Maybe that 6 to 8 minutes was the important message that they didn't
yeah,
need to hear.
I mean that's a lot, dude. Like 6 minutes of somebody's life.
Honestly.
It's like,
Yeah.
Shit only takes me 30 seconds to on Instagram or whatever just to absorb certain material,
yeah,
and that like vibrates in my soul. So
yeah, yeah. So I do need to work on that a little bit more on like just perspective and just viewing it in a, I guess, in a positive way instead of looking at the negative of, I guess, like, oh, I'm not there yet, so like I can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's my problem. So
Sound like a you problem.
yeah, exactly. It is a me problem.
I honestly think you're doing a fucking amazing job here, honest, like just doing this type of stuff. Like
Yeah.
you're one of the hardest working people I know that doesn't have a 9 to 5 job. You have your schedule set up so like meticulously that you're giving yourself enough time to do certain things, and you're executing. That's
Yeah.
one of the most important thing. You're executing on the things, because a lot of people could say that they're putting up like a schedule and this and that, but a lot of people like they don't execute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's I think that's fucking amazing that like that you do that, and that's inspiring to me. And I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure to a lot of your viewers as well.
And this is what I really want to get into, like people's mind, right? That I know you know what you want to do. I mean, like maybe you don't, but I feel like a lot of people know.
Yeah.
Like for you, we had this conversation. I know you told me that you want to start your own YouTube channel, and I gave you my advice. I'd be like, hey, you need to do it because I know you're good at it. I mean, you're good at the podcast. Like you're good in front of the camera.
I've seen a lot of you guys' stuff too. You're fucking amazing too, honestly.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Like you have the potential to do your own thing as well. So don't get discouraged, bro.
I'm gonna be vulnerable for a second. I'm the guy that has problems with execution and believing in myself, because I hear from all my friends that they admire how talented I am
Yeah.
and all this stuff. So that's never been my issue. My issue is the other stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
What's the issue?
I don't know, man. Like,
Like, are you scared to post and people?
no, not even that. Like, I don't know why I don't feel driven. And I don't know if it's because like the uncertainty.
But you haven't even done it yet. Like you can't say, I'm not driven to go to the gym if you've never, like, be disciplined to be in the gym. Like, don't you go to the gym every day? Isn't
For
that
the most part, yeah.
Isn't that kind of the same way? Like, let's say, put YouTube like as like the gym, right? Like, you don't want to go there. Like your first time going, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't want to be here. But it's just one of those things. It's just like something's, when we talk about drive, right? Like, do you really want to be at the gym? Probably not. Like, you only want the gym because you want the result.
That's
Like,
true.
I mean, unless you do really like enjoy working out.
I'm twisted, bro. I like the pain.
But yeah, I mean, that's fine. Like that's cool. But it's just like,
It's the only way I can feel anything.
but then it's just like, there's a pain in fucking making videos too. Like
that's true.
it's just
Yeah.
painful.
But it's not physical. That's more like
Yeah.
mental.
yeah, yeah, that is a mental pain for sure. But like the thing is just like you just gotta do it. Like you don't know what it feels like to make a video. I mean, I'm sure you made videos before, but like I know you want to try something different.
Yeah.
So you don't know if that's gonna be like a spark for you. Like you might make that first video. I'm like, this shit kind of sucks. Like I don't want to do this. But then it's like
At least you like.
at least you
Get
tried,
there.
right?
Yeah.
Like at least you tried. But then that's the thing with like making videos. Your first few videos, a lot of it
Fucking
is gonna suck ass for sure. And like my first videos before,
But that's how you
like-
get better.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's always room for improvement, right? Like you'll learn every little aspects of making videos. Because like making the video is one thing,
Yeah.
and then there's also the YouTube game.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things that you can learn from like uploading to YouTube. Because there's like tactics and strategies that goes into it.
Yeah.
But it's so, I feel like it's rewarding. Like I know like I've been complaining and it's like it sounds kind of toxic. But it's also very rewarding because I mean, I don't know what you're going to be making, but like you're helping people out there, right? You're helping people, or you're, at the very least, you're entertaining somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I've been thinking about this a lot lately is like, why do people like watching streamers? It's like they're just playing video games or whatever they're streaming, right?
Some people don't even play video games. They're
yeah,
just streaming themselves.
Yeah, or they're just talking. You know what it is? It's people are lonely, and they need some sort of
Connection.
yeah, and it's not like I think they call it like parasocial relationship. It's like when you watch a celebrity, like you think of them as like a friend in a way, in like because like you like for me, right? Like I watch Bobby Lee because I think he's funny and I love his podcast, and I don't think of him as a friend, but then like I do know so much about him because I listen to him like every week.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I listen to a lot of podcasts, so it feels like some sort of like parasocial like friendship in a way. Because like I know you guys probably watch a lot of like your favorite YouTubers, right?
Yeah.
And then you feel some sort of like connected to them somehow.
Yeah.
Um,
For those of you wondering what JERiCK was talking about as it pertains to me, what he's basically, so I am very passionate about hip hop, like hip hop culture, everything about it. And I really, truly do owe so much to it that I feel like I need to not necessarily document, but just share my experience and my passion for it with everybody else who does love hip hop. And one of the main things that I guess is kind of like a setback in my head is like there's a part of me that feels like I don't have the right to speak on it because I'm not the right skin color. And I know a lot of my friends have said that's stupid, you know,
because
but
it is.
I get it, but it is something that it is an issue for a lot of people, or maybe not a lot of people, but for some folks. And I just, the last thing I want is for somebody to label me like as a culture vulture or whatever, which I would never do anything to disrespect the thing that I love. You know what I mean? So,
But you're looking at it from your perspective, right? Like you can't do anything about it. You're fucking Filipino. Like it's it's
right.
like there's no way like you can't change that about yourself.
yeah.
Like but you're looking at it from a fan perspective. You're looking at it as like you want to highlight hip hop. You want to put it in a good light, and you want to share your thoughts about it. So like I don't think people. I mean, there's always gonna be haters, right? Like
100%.
if you put yourself out there, there's a chance that people are gonna hate on you,
Right.
and that's just part of the game. Like it is what it is. But focus on the people that are like. I'm sure somebody's gonna leave good comments about it too. So like don't think about it as, I think we all have imposter syndrome. Like for me, it's like, who am I to fucking talk about all this
Life.
deep talks, right? Like,
Yeah.
why would people want to listen to me? But it's just like, I'm just talking, dude. Like, I'm just sharing my thoughts. Like, either you want to listen to it or not. Like, that's up to you. Like, and
True.
that's how you should look at it. It's you're just sharing your perspective. You're just sharing your videos, your passion for it,
Yeah.
and that's it.
I feel like you should just go straight for it, bro. Like, dead on. I mean, think about it. It could be the next easy meal.
Yeah, 'cause like,
And talk about skin color. I guess, I don't know, man. Eminem's up there, and he's pretty white.
that's true.
So you think about it, man. I don't think your skin color should be anything about it. I think it's the passion that you have within.
I feel that. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. So when are we expecting to see this videos? You need to announce it on the podcast so you have accountability. No, I'm just
man.
kidding. Yeah, that's just such, I don't know. Imposter syndrome is weird.
I just had one thing to add on to this. It's funny that we're talking about this shit right now because the other day I was by myself and I was thinking to myself, it's like what the fuck? Because I'm trying to do stuff for my own self too, and
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, man, what's the difference between the shit that I'm actually trying to do versus what I'm actually like my work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like I have a 9 to 7 job, and then I have this thing that I want to start off to the side. And I thought to myself, man, this shit's fucking hard, man. Because I don't know if you know, I'm trying to get into music too. And so I'm playing and fucking around with Logic Pro right now. And I fucking suck. And
Oh,
I
like
can't,
producing?
yeah, I can't figure it out. But I just keep watching videos and I'm not gonna give up. But I also looked at it. I also checked out, it's like, dude, I fucking like what's the difference between my job and this? Like I could do this shit. The only difference between my job and the thing that I want to do is that my consistency. A job,
You have to go to
you
the
have
job.
to go to job, but the more you're there, the better you get at it.
Mhm.
And eventually you become the master of your own craft by being in there, showing up, even on the days that you don't want to fucking be there. You go in there, you fucking do your thing every single day. That's the consistency. So I just thought to myself, like, dude, if I apply this shit that I'm doing right now to the thing that I want to do, just be consistent. I know I'm a fucking suck at it. Then I may pick up on something and eventually be able to start producing something good for enough for me to be happy about.
Yeah.
That I want to share. So I just want to say, man, just like start the craft, dude.
Yeah.
Just keep going and don't give up
Have
on
you
it.
guys seen the thing with Kobe where he's narrating, like he'll take like a play from like a basketball game and he's narrating what's happening and what he thinks this player's thinking as the motion's happening.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen those. No.
You know what I'm
I've
talking about?
never seen him, but I think
Oh.
I know.
Other people's play, not his.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be like he's narrating the play and he's like, oh, so and so's gonna pass it to here because the coverage is weak. You know what I mean? Like he breaks down an
Yeah.
entire sequence. That's kind of what I want to do, but with like songs, like, you know, like Hit Boy produced this song and he used this sample. Listen to the chords real quick and listen to how he flipped this song into the final product. And you know what I mean? So it is gonna take some editing. It's gonna take definitely some time, but I'm just saying this so you guys get an idea
Yeah.
of what it is I'm trying
Because
to
it's
do.
like, there is a channel out there that's like that. I don't know if you've seen it before. It's called Digging the Crates.
First of all, that title, sorry,
Yeah.
digging into crates is like a term in hip hop where
Yep.
producers used to go to like record shops and find records, meaning like vinyl records,
Yeah.
and find samples. That's called digging in the
I'm
crates.
gonna send you that guy's channel because he basically breaks down a lot of songs.
Yeah.
And then he goes into like a lot of hip hop stuff too. So like it's very cool because I've watched it before and like his shit is like super
Yeah,
interesting.
dude, I want to do like artist spotlights.
Like
or-
it's because it's like you're very passionate about it, right? And I'm sure you know more than an average person. And Oh yeah. Then there you go. It's just like that's the thing is like when sometimes we feel a little like unworthy of teaching people because we think of ourselves like, oh, I don't know enough. But the truth is, you just know to need a little bit more than the average person. Like you just need to know a little bit more to teach, and that's just how easy it is.
Yeah.
It's true. That's true.
So like for you to like be so into hip hop, like I'm sure you can do it. I'm sure it's gonna be interesting. But I'll send you the guy's videos. But then don't compare yourself to his
no.
because his shit was
No,
like
I definitely.
Fucking crazy.
The struggle right now is I'm trying to figure out a format, and I probably won't figure that out until I actually try to do it. So it's gotta get.
Yeah,
started.
sometimes you just get it started and you'll start to like figure out.
I might not even post the first couple videos I make. I might just try to get a feel for what I want, and then once I'm comfortable, and then
Yeah, because I told you before, it's like make the videos. Don't even share it to your friends. Like unless you want to, because sometimes we stop ourselves because sometimes we think about other people's opinions, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if I post this video, like, what is this other people gonna think? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know your friends are very supportive, but it's still kind of sometimes it's good to just not have people's opinions on whatever you're making sometimes. Especially for something that you just started that you're probably not ready to share.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Start making it, dude. I'm sure it's gonna be good. Well, eventually we get good. Because like, what's the alternative? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna do Uber for the rest of your life? Is that really the life you want?
No.
Like, I think you already know the answer. Is I think sometimes we look at it as like, I don't know what your like dream is, right? Like, let's just say you become a successful YouTuber that you just doing it full time. Like, it's sometimes we look at it as like, oh man, that's so hard to reach. Like, how much time and hours do I need to work? But you should look at it as like one video at a time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just one step at a time. You don't need to
Honestly, dude.
You don't need to be thinking about six pack. Like that might be like, years.
I'm not even thinking about the money. Like, obviously that would be nice, but like, I think I just need an outlet to like.
That's you go.
Get some creative juices going. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, because you told me like you've been feeling kind of down and depressed lately, and I told you it's because you don't have a creative outlet. All you do is work.
Yeah.
And that shit will drain the life out of you.
I got
dude.
bills, dog. And,
yeah. Everybody got bills though. Yeah.
I feel like we're on the same fucking path right now, bro.
Yeah.
It's like we're both just trying to, because I feel the same way. Like when you said that, I was like, damn, that's how I fucking feel.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm doing all this other shit that I'm doing, just so that way I have I'm
trying to recover mentally, spiritually, and financially. So recently, I'm not gonna try to get into it too much, but basically, I fell for an AI scam. That cost me a pretty good chunk of money, and that's why I've been working so much. And that happening just kind of took me out of a lot of things, bro. I just checked out because I was like, fuck, man, like this is the last thing I needed, so I'm slowly getting back into my old self, but it's just that was a big hit, bro. Like, big hit.
Yeah.
Dude, there's so much of that shit going on right now. It's fuking crazy. Like, what
It
the
was
fuck?
crazy because it's literally a sponsored video on YouTube.
That's nuts.
And it's AI. It's so one of the cryptocurrencies I'm invested in, they recently won their lawsuit against the SEC, and that day there was a video on YouTube of the CEO of the company talking about this promotion. His voice, his face, everything. Official logo on the QR code, dude, and I fucking fell for it. Because my emotions were high. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So I wasn't even thinking clearly, and I'm not normally a guy who makes impulse decisions, but for some reason that day I became a victim. And I don't even want to say that because I played a part into that happening. I let myself get there, and I was so desperate to like put myself in a better situation that I somehow ended up putting myself in a worse situation. You know what I mean?
I mean,
By
but it
not thinking
happens.
clearly. Right. So
Because I was gonna do the exact same shit. That's why I'm very sketch with and like very hesitant when it comes down to anybody asking about cryptocurrency and me.
yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't think I want to try this. But
Yeah.
people keep just pushing me. But that's something I'm just not gonna get into anymore in my life.
Yeah. No,
It's hard.
It was definitely something I could have prevented if I just took an extra second to think clearly and actually, you know what I mean? I was just so caught up on my emotions. I was like, oh my God, they just won. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I feel like for some, like when you're backed up against the rope so bad, then you just try to do whatever you can.
Yeah,
Right.
sometimes like
And it backfired.
yeah, we think about an easy way out, right? In our situation that is kind of terrible. Sometimes we look for shortcuts in a way.
Sure.
So it's like I get it, and I understand. Like I've fell for scams before too, because I wanted to make that extra money, and like it just didn't pan out the way I thought it would. But it's yeah, I mean it happens too. Like I don't know. Like sometimes you look at it as like everything happens for a reason, right? Like I don't know what the reason is. Like
Still trying
it's-
to figure that out.
yeah,
bro.
because honestly, it sucks. Like sometimes, like shit like that happens, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But then, part of you was probably like, then you realize that like, oh shit, like this is kind of all I've been doing is working, hustling, trying to get out of my situation. Where now you're kind of thinking like, what's the alternative, right? Like, now you're starting to think about all this creative outlet that you want to do. Like that's probably like part of it was the spark of that, because like, man, like what's the point of trying so hard if it's just
Shit
gonna,
keeps happening anyway.
yeah, exactly. So like if life keeps happening, like fuck it, dude. Like like might as well enjoy other things.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel
yeah.
like in this room we have a lot of creative like power. Like just
Everybody's
between the three
creative.
of us,
Yeah.
in a sense.
I have so many outlets, but I think I need a new one. That sounds so selfish, but like, I dance, I know how to mix and DJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's so many I already do have outlets, but I think I just need a new perspective on how to unleash some creative juices. And I don't know. I think I really want to do that breakdown thing as
Yeah.
it pertains
And
to
especially if you've been thinking about it a lot,
I have.
like it's in your head for a reason.
Yeah.
Like that idea came in your head because it, the universe wants you to fucking do
I
that
was gonna
shit.
say that too. Yeah.
Because for me, like when I decided to take this space, I thought I was gonna make music in here, but then when I started building a room, I was like, fuck it, like maybe I'll just do a podcast instead. And if I didn't take this room, I don't know if I would be doing podcasts right now. Like I don't know what I would be doing. Is this financially smart? Not really. But that
Gotta
is
take
like
the
I'm
risk, bro.
investing in my future.
Yeah. It's
Like,
but you probably also feel so much lighter having this space, right?
yeah, I do. Like it's just easier to be more creative in a way.
Yeah.
Like I could just come here, turn on the lights, start recording. I didn't have, because like when we used to do the podcast in my room before,
Yeah.
I would have to set up an hour to set up and then an hour to break down. It's just like that's 2 hours right there.
Tell the girl to leave your room.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. So it's just like it was kind of a hassle, but like now it's just good to just come in here, especially if I'm feeling inspired. I just get to come here and like start recording. Like I even want to start. I've started doing like solo videos now too, just kind of talking whatever's in my mind.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I watched them, bro.
it's kind of cringy for me. But I think it's gonna get better. Like I feel like I need to do more of that because I don't know. Like sometimes I just have thoughts in my head that I just need to like let out, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me.
Let's just circle back.
Yeah. Yeah. Final questions. Final thoughts.
Shit, we went off.
We
on
pretty
this
much
pretty
went off a
good.
lot of different
Honestly,
topics.
Aside from that, I don't think this is a bad investment at all. I don't think, you know.
I don't think so.
The reason why is because, like you said, you fucking come in here, you flip on a switch, and you're ready to fucking.
You literally
rock and roll.
created a platform,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
by you having to do it like a 2 hour like delay before you do anything. It's taken away from your.
And like sometimes
thought
it's because when I used to do it before, right? When I used to set up, I didn't want to set up, so like, nope, I'm not doing the video because I don't want to do the setup. So it's like it was like, this is enabling me to just like create instead of worrying about, oh man, like it's gonna be a pain in the ass to break down or like doing all the unnecessary things. So yeah, like sometimes, I mean, that is true. Like this is a good investment, but you
It
know,
may not be financially a good investment,
yeah,
but it is
at the
for
moment.
sure.
But
But
like,
spiritually,
yeah,
it's a good investment.
love and light,
No.
bruh.
I think it's a pretty good investment.
But it's, I mean, like,
But psychedelically.
yeah, this, I mean, like, I don't regret anything. And it's, you know, it'll all make sense someday. Though, like I said before, there will be signs.
honestly, the universe told you to put this up for a reason.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because like I was like, I seriously thought I was gonna make music here, but then I don't know, for some odd reason, like it turned into a podcast space, and I think that's what God, the universe, wants me to do. So like I'm just gonna, I guess I need to dive into it a little bit more.
Hey, you sponsors, holla at my boy. Athletic
real.
Greens. What is the shit on Joe?
BetterHelp.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, the BetterHelp.
Speaking
dude,
of
oh,
therapy,
yeah,
let's
for
go.
real.
BetterHelp.
Honestly,
seriously.
Holla at my boy.
Honestly, like I want to get to a point, like part of it too, like when talking about collaboration, right? Like once we start making money, like I want to be able to like pay people too, you know what I mean? Like I want to pay you guys for coming here, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
feel like it's an honor being on this damn thing.
and like, yeah, but like honor doesn't, pay your bills. So.
That's true.
My boy. I appreciate
So,
that, dude.
like,
That's
like, yeah, when I'm ready to pay people, I will pay people. And,
yeah.
So like,
another one.
yeah. So like, I do appreciate everybody's help, right? Like Felicia, like you guys been co-hosting. So like, yeah, we've spent a lot of hours and not get paid. And like, yes, like that's not the point. But then eventually, like I want us to just do this full time and like fucking have fun, dude.
Yeah.
Like what's the difference between the big podcasts that we're watching, right? Like that's all they do. Talk shit and get paid.
I'll be your Joe Button.
Yeah. And then, so like eventually, like I want to get it to that point where we're all just gonna make money and doing this, and then like you can do your other things too, you know what I mean? Like everybody has their own outlet.
Yeah.
Because like people should get paid for,
For existing.
exactly. And like I've seen a
Tell
lot
me I'm wrong.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos that talk about that. It's like, don't you want to get paid just for existing?
Be nice. It costs money. It feels like it costs money to fucking breathe, dog.
Yeah. Like life is hard. So like I would love to be at that point where I would just wake up every day and be like, huh, I just get to do podcasts, edit,
What
and
do you wanna talk about today?
like, yeah, like what shit am I gonna talk about today? It's just like, it's fun. Everybody should just get to have fun and get paid. So yeah, like I know, like, yes, like I appreciate that you guys would just love to be here and like talk, but don't worry, I gotcha. There will be signs, like I said. There will be signs.
We get royalties, bro. Hell yeah.
There will be signs, dude. Like sponsorships. She. just can you imagine getting paid like 30 grand an episode? It's okay someday. And then that's why like it's like sometimes it's hard for me to like think that I'm a podcaster because there's no money or there's no numbers. But yeah, you're right though. Like I'm doing the thing.
Y'all lucky I ain't got titties, bro, because man, I would have cashed out a long time ago.
Tell us how you really feel.
$5, swipe up.
But yeah, like yeah. Eventually, like I do want to bring like other interesting people in here too.
Imagine you interviewing Sean Evans right here, and you're like asking him, because I know that's one of your favorite things to watch.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Imagine flipping the script and like giving him like you know how he at
Exactly.
the end of his show he's like, oh, share it, tell the people what you know
Exactly.
is currently happening.
So yeah, that's the goal. So that's the that's me.
This is the JERiCK image episode of the JIVij podcast.
Yeah, it was just interesting that people want to learn more about me because I feel like I've like I always talk about me in every episode. But, yeah,
You only give them a sample though of what you.
I'm a
really
teaser.
are. Yeah.
Just a
It's
tip.
like-
And you're watching the Disney Channel.
Yeah, this is a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it.
It was good. I mean, you got to explore your mind this time
for
versus,
having
you
me
know.
on.
Yeah, of course,
Seriously,
dude.
Same.
Yeah, thanks for coming to the pod.
Anytime.
JERiCK broke me out of jail to get me here.
All right, that's it for this episode. See you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.